Welcome. Need a good book? Nancy Pearl, author of the Book Lust series, librarian, host of the Book Lust television show, and That Stack of Books podcast is here. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Steve.
Couple of favorite books of fiction from 2014?
Yeah, just terrific novels, very different from one another. And I think that these are the books that are not going to jump off and be everybody's immediate choice because they've heard about them. So that's exactly the kind of book I like to talk about
What's
the best.
The first one?
So the first one is called F, and it's by Daniel Kellman. It is translated from the German by a woman named Carol Brown Janeway. And a lot of people, you know, we've heard about the Turing test, where to see if artificial intelligence can pass as a human, can be undetected. Well, I have what I call the Pearl test. A lot of people don't like to read translated works because they think the translation is a little clunky. And so I think the Pearl test is if you can read a book and not know that it's translated, that's a good thing. And so anything that Carol Brown Janeway translates is a book that I will read, almost whatever the topic is, because she's such a good translator. But
F, you're a good writer too.
Yes, F is a fabulous novel, and it's about a father and his 3 sons. And one day the father is taking the sons to a kind of arena where the world's most famous hypnotist is performing. The great Lindemann is performing, and even though the father says he doesn't believe in hypnotism, he could never be hypnotized, he gets called out of the audience, brought up on stage, and the hypnotist proceeds to change not only his life but the lives of the 3 sons. It is a book that is very funny. It's a book that's philosophical. It's a book that doesn't cater to particularly to people who want everything answered. You know, there's a lot of just wonderful dimensions to this book, a lot of things to think about, beginning with the title of the book, F, just the letter F. What does it stand for?
Yeah. Do we find out?
Please read
if
the book, Steve.
Book.
And this is also the only book I've ever read that contains within the book a critique of the book itself, as though it were critiquing another book. So the father writes a book, and this is how the author describes the book. The sentences are well constructed, the narrative has a powerful flow. The reader would be enjoying the text were it not for a persistent feeling of somehow being mocked. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, that is a critique of Daniel Kellman's book. It's a brilliant, brilliant book. And from the cover, which is kind of has psychedelic op-eds glasses on it, to everything that's in it, and the 3 sons. And it really deals with, one of the questions it deals with is how do you live a life that's mediocre? I mean, how do you come to terms with having a mediocre life? It's such a wonderful, wonderful novel.
Oh, that's very painful. I'll have to read that.
I want you to.
What's the other one?
The other one is called The Blazing World, and it's by Scher. It's the story of an artist named Harriet Burden, and it's told in the guise of a collection of essays, articles, interviews, excerpts from Harriet's journal, all being put together by someone named V.I. Hess. And we don't know very much about this V.I. Hess, but we know a lot about Harriet Burden. Harriet Burden is a major American. She wouldn't say she was major, she would argue with that. She is an American artist, and she has always felt that primarily because she's female, she doesn't get the respect and the attention that male artists get from critics and galleries. They don't get these, women artists don't get these big showings and shows at various galleries. And so over the course of her career, Harriet has gotten asked and succeeded in having 3 different men claim responsibility for 3 of her works, without just saying that those are their works, and then sort of sitting back and watching what the response is. And so Seri Husted is such an intelligent writer. I mean, she's a brilliant writer, and she's a brilliant craftsperson in the sense that this is the kind of book that you read and then you have to put it down to sort of think about how wonderful the sentence structure is. But it's a book that's constructed in such a fascinating way that you get not only Harriet's own version of it in these journals, but what the critics have said about her work, and then what they've said about her work as presented by these various men. Sherry Husband happens to be married to Paul Auster, the essayist and novelist, and if I could be a fly on the wall of one of their dinner table conversations, oh my gosh, that would be so interesting to me. They're just both brilliant, and this is I believe it's Sherry Husband's 7th novel, and I think really each one, and I loved the early ones too, but each one I think gets better and better and better, and she gets kind of deeper and takes on more chewy kinds of issues, but many of her books deal with art and artists.
Very interesting couple too. That
Yes.
would be a very interesting couple.
Yes. Yep.
All right, 2 books that you should read, maybe escaped your attention. Nancy Pearl, thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Thank you, folks.